The sheriff knocked at 9 in the morning. I opened the door in my bathrobe, coffee still warm in my hand. Behind him stood my Aunt Karen and Uncle Rick, arms crossed, smiling like they'd already won. The sheriff was polite, professional. "Ma'am, I have a notice here. These folks claim you're occupying their property unlawfully. Do you have proof of residence or ownership?" Karen's smile widened. She had her phone out, recording. "This is family property," she said. "She's been squatting here since Mom died." Uncle Rick nodded. "We tried to be nice, but she refused to leave." I set my coffee down. I walked to the hallway table, pulled a single document from the drawer, walked back, handed it to the sheriff. He unfolded it, read the first line, then the second. His face changed. He looked at Karen and Rick, then back at me. "Ma'am," he said quietly, "who actually owns this property?" I met Karen's eyes. "I do." Her smile died. "Let me back up. Where are you watching from, and what time is it there? Drop a comment. And if you've ever been underestimated by family, hit that like button. You'll want to stay for this." My grandmother raised me. Not because she wanted to play hero, because my parents checked out when I was 7. Dad chased work across 3 states. Mom chased whatever made her forget. Grandma was the one who showed up. She taught me how to cook, how to balance a checkbook, how to fix a running toilet and patch drywall. "Life doesn't wait for you to be ready," she used to say. "So you keep receipts. You keep records. You keep your word." I took that seriously. When I turned 23, Grandma got sick. Breast cancer. Stage 3. I moved in to help. Aunt Karen and Uncle Rick lived 30 minutes away. They called twice. Both times to ask Grandma for money. I was the one who drove her to chemo, held her hair, refilled her prescriptions, painted the porch trim on weekends so she'd have something nice to look at. Grandma got better. The cancer went into remission. But she was frail, tired. She didn't want to sell the house. Didn't want to move into some sterile facility. So we made a plan, a quiet one. She sold me the house, full price, appraised at $187,000. I paid her in installments over 2 years, every dollar documented, notarized. Recorded with the county clerk. It gave her income. It gave me a home. And it gave her peace. "This way," she said, "you'll always have a roof. And I'll always have you." The deed was recorded 3 years before she passed. I kept a binder. Every payment receipt, every letter, every piece of paper. Grandma taught me that. I didn't know I'd need it so soon. Grandma passed on a Tuesday. The funeral was small. I spoke. Karen cried loudly. Rick checked his phone. 2 weeks later, Karen texted me. "We need to talk about the house." I didn't answer right away. She showed up the next morning, with Rick and a realtor. I opened the door. "Hey, sweetie," Karen said, breezing past me. "We brought Jen. She's going to do a walkthrough." I blinked. "A walkthrough?" "For the sale," Rick said. "This place should pull 400,000 easy. Maybe more if we stage it." The realtor was already measuring the living room. I stayed calm. "You can't sell a house you don't own." Karen laughed. "Honey, this is family property. Mom didn't leave a will. It goes to her kids. That's me and your uncle." "She did leave a will," I said. "An old one," Rick cut in. "From like 15 years ago. Doesn't even mention you." Karen put her hand on my shoulder. Patronizing. Soft. "Look, we get it. You took care of her. That was sweet. But you've had a free ride long enough. We're giving you 30 days. Pack what's yours. The furniture stays." I pulled out my phone, opened the county recorder's website. "You might want to check the public records first." Karen glanced at the screen, waved it away. Honey, she said, smiling, we are the records. She handed me a business card for a storage facility. Then they left. The realtor left her measuring tape on Grandma's kitchen counter. 7 days later, I got certified mail. Notice to quit. Legal jargon. 30 days to vacate. They'd filed something called an unlawful detainer. Claimed they inherited the property under intestate succession. My name wasn't on Grandma's old will. I sat on the porch. The one Grandma and I had painted mint green because it made her smile. I touched the railing she used to grip when her legs were weak. And for the first time, I felt afraid. What if I missed something? What if the sale didn't record properly? I called a lawyer. Left a message. The consult fee was $300, money I'd been saving for a new roof. I looked at the notice again. All that legal language, all those citations and codes. It was designed to intimidate. And for a moment, it worked. I went inside, pulled the binder off the shelf, flipped it open, and remembered. Grandma's voice, steady, clear. Life doesn't wait for you to be ready, so you keep receipts. I had receipts, and page 1 changed everything. There it was, warranty deed, recorded with the county clerk. Book 4021, page 16. Grantor, Grandma. Grantee, me, legal description. Parcel number. Notarized signature. Date recorded 3 years before she died. We'd done it right. Hired an attorney. Got an appraisal. Structured it as a sale, not a gift. $187,000. Paid in 24 monthly installments. I had every bank transfer, every cleared check, every receipt. Grandma had wanted it clean, legal, ironclad. This way you'll always have a home, she'd said. And I'll have income for my care. I scanned the deed. High resolution. Uploaded it to a cloud folder. I wasn't a squatter. I wasn't a freeloader. I was the owner. And they'd never even checked. I attached the scan to an email. Sent it to the address on their lawyer's letterhead. Subject line, unlawful detainer, evidence of ownership. One sentence in the body, I own the property. See attached. I hit send. Then I waited. I thought that would be enough. I was wrong. They weren't done. 3 days later, their lawyer sent a new letter. They were accusing me of elder abuse, undue influence, coercion. The letter claimed Grandma wasn't of sound mind when she sold the house, that I manipulated a sick, dying woman. It made my stomach turn. Then Karen went nuclear. She posted on Facebook, tagged half the family. My mother's caretaker stole her house while she was dying. We're fighting to get justice. Please share. My phone blew up. Cousins I hadn't talked to in years. Friends of friends. Messages ranged from concerned to vicious. Is this true? How could you? You should be ashamed. I didn't respond. I screenshotted everything. Then Uncle Rick showed up with a locksmith. I opened the door. What are you doing? Securing family assets, Rick said. We have a right. I pulled out my phone. Dialed 911. There's a man trying to break into my home. Rick's face went red. This isn't your home. The locksmith looked uncomfortable. He left. Rick didn't. He stood on the lawn, shouting, You're going to jail for this! You're a thief! You'll be out by Christmas. The police came, took a report, told him it was a civil matter and he needed to leave. He left, but the damage was done. My name was Mud. My phone wouldn't stop ringing, and they were just getting started. I went back to the binder. Second file. Letter from Grandma's estate attorney. Dated 6 months before she passed. It was clear, direct, notarized. My client has elected to sell her primary residence to her granddaughter. She is of sound mind and acting of her own free will. This transaction reflects her wishes and her estate plan. Attached, a cognitive evaluation from her doctor. Patient demonstrates full decision-making capacity. Oriented to person, place, and time. No signs of dementia or coercion. And the bank records. Wire transfers. 24 of them. Each one noted. Property purchase, address. The total, $187,000. Exactly the appraised value. No gift, no discount. No shady backroom deal. A clean legal sale. I scanned everything. Sent it to their lawyer. CC'd the court clerk. This time I wrote 2 sentences. My grandmother was of sound mind. I have proof. If you proceed with false claims, I will pursue sanctions. I hit send. Then I did some digging. And I found out why they were really so desperate. A cousin reached out. One who'd stayed quiet during the Facebook storm. She sent a text. I thought you should know. Rick owes a lot of money. They told people they were selling an inheritance to pay it off. I called her. She told me everything. Rick had invested in a franchise. Some meal kit delivery thing, it tanked. He owed $140,000. Karen co-signed the loan. They were in default, facing foreclosure on their own house. So they took out a bridge loan, told the lender they had an inheritance coming. A house worth $400,000. They'd already spent money they didn't have, against an asset they didn't own. Now the bridge loan was due, and they had nothing. That's why they never checked the county records. They couldn't afford to. They'd built their entire financial plan on an assumption. And when that assumption cracked, they doubled down. It was never about Grandma's memory. It was desperation dressed up as entitlement. I felt sorry for them. For about 5 seconds. Then I remembered the locksmith, the Facebook post, the word thief, and I knew exactly what I had to do. I hired a lawyer. Not for a consult, for war. A real estate litigator. 15 years of experience. Sharp as a scalpel. I paid the retainer with the money I'd saved for Grandma's roof. It hurt, but it was necessary. We filed a motion to dismiss their unlawful detainer. Attached every receipt. Then we filed a cross-complaint. Slander of title, harassment, abuse of process. We demanded they cease all contact, warned that any further interference would result in a restraining order. And we notified the county sheriff's office, put it in writing. Any future eviction, attempt on this property will be based on false pretenses and is legally actionable. My lawyer looked at me across the desk. You could settle, offer them something to go away. I shook my head. No, I'm done defending. Let the paperwork talk. I stopped answering their calls. Blocked Karen on everything. Let my lawyer handle it. No more emotion. No more explanations. Just facts. Just documents. Just the law. 3 weeks later, I got a call from the sheriff's office. Ma'am, we've received a request to serve an eviction notice at your address. Can you confirm your ownership status? I smiled. I'll be home all morning. They rolled the dice anyway, and I was ready. Which brings us back to that morning. The knock, the sheriff, Karen and Rick on my lawn, 2 cousins standing behind them, phones out, recording everything. Karen was narrating for the camera. This is the house my mother died in, the house this woman stole. Today we're getting it back. The sheriff stepped forward, polite but firm. Ma'am, I have a notice here. Do you have documentation proving residence or ownership? Karen's smile was triumphant. Rick folded his arms like a bouncer. I handed the sheriff the deed. He unfolded it. Read the top line. Warranty deed. Recorded 3 years ago. I handed him the second page. Grandma's attorney's letter. He skimmed it. This says she was of sound mind. Then I handed him the court filing. The motion to dismiss. Already stamped and docketed. I've already filed a cross-complaint for harassment and slander of title. This eviction attempt is based on false information. The sheriff pulled out his radio. Called his supervisor. Karen's lawyer, standing off to the side, went pale. He stepped closer to her. Whispered something. She shook her head. The supervisor arrived 5 minutes later. Reviewed all 3 documents. He looked at Karen and Rick. This property is legally hers. The deed is recorded. You filed a fraudulent eviction notice. That's a misdemeanor. Possibly contempt. Rick's face went from confident to brick red. That's not, she tricked, sir, you need to leave. Now. Karen tried one more time. This is a family matter. She manipulated my dying mother. The supervisor didn't blink. Then take it to probate court. But you don't own this house. And if you come back, she can file for trespassing and a restraining order. He handed my documents back to me. Ma'am, do you want to file a report? I looked at Karen, at Rick, at the cousins still holding their phones. Yes. The sheriff took my statement, right there on the lawn. Karen and Rick left in silence. The cousins deleted their videos before they even got to their cars. I stood on Grandma's porch, the mint green one we'd painted together, and I finally let myself breathe. 2 months later, the court dismissed their case, formally, completely, and awarded me attorney's fees, $8,400. Their lawyer withdrew the same day. Karen and Rick's bridge loan? The lender accelerated it, called the full balance due. They listed their own house for sale 3 weeks later. I didn't gloat. I didn't post about it. I didn't call anyone. I did file for a restraining order. And the judge granted it. 1 year, no contact. I blocked them on every platform, changed my number, drew a line. The cousins who had stayed silent during the Facebook storm sent apologies. Quiet ones, through mutual friends. I accepted them, but I didn't let them back in. Some bridges you don't rebuild. You just stop maintaining them. I used the attorney fee award to fix Grandma's roof, the one I'd put off to pay the retainer. New shingles, copper flashing. It'll last 30 years. I planted a garden in the backyard. Tomatoes, basil, roses, all the things Grandma loved. I put a little stone marker under the rose bush. For the woman who taught me to keep receipts and keep my word. I still live in that house. I repainted the porch last spring. Same mint green. Sometimes I sit out there in the mornings with my coffee, and I think about what Grandma used to say. Inheritance isn't about who shows up at the funeral. It's about who showed up every single day before it. She knew who that was. That's why she made sure I'd have a home, even after she was gone. Karen and Rick thought family meant entitlement. Grandma knew it meant something else. Presence, sacrifice, proof. If someone ever tries to take what you've earned by calling it a gift or a theft, remember this. Receipts don't lie, and neither does love. So here's my question for you. Have you ever had to prove you earned something others thought they deserved? Have you ever been underestimated by the people who were supposed to have your back? Drop your story in the comments. I read every single one. And if this one resonated, if it reminded you to keep your receipts and know your worth, hit that subscribe button. There's a lot more where this came from. Oh, and one last thing. This story is a fictionalized dramatization. It's not legal or financial advice. But the lesson is real. Document everything. Know your rights. And never let someone else write your story. Thanks for watching.